Magic fans, I'm Beef and welcome back to another standard gameplay video. So if you've been paying attention to any other content creators in the last week or so, you'll see there's a new combo in standard rolling around Innkeeper's Talent, which is a new card from Bloomburrow. It's a very powerful card. It's a class, it costs 1 and a green, and its level 1 is at the beginning of combat in your turn, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. So very much like Luminarch Aspirant, which was a card from a few years ago, which was a very powerful creature. And then you can pay 1 green to level it up to level 2, which gives permanents you control with counters on them have Ward 1. So that synergizes well with the counters you put on them. And then level up to level 3 by paying 4. And it says if you put 1 or more counters on a permanent or player, put twice that many each of those counters on that permanent player instead. So it's essentially doubling season. And the way the combo works is, specifically with one Planeswalker, but it works with all Planeswalkers. Because the way Planeswalkers work is, when you play them, instead of them coming down with however many loyalty they start with, in theory, they come down with 0 and you put those loyalty counters on. So it will double up those counters as well. So for example, with Liliana, if you play her, she'll come down with 6 and you can ultimate straight away, causing your opponent to sacrifice half the board. And the real combo is with Vraska, because what Vraska's ultimate is, it says if target player has fewer than 9 poison counters, they get a number of poison counters equal to the difference. So assuming they've got no poison counters, they'll get 9. If you've got a 3 level up Innkeeper's Talent, that'll double up to 18, an automatic win. And what works really well with Vraska is she has 1 Phyrexian black mana and a casting cost. You can pay that by paying 2 life, so you pay 5 mana in total. And what the Phyrexian mana means in a Planeswalker is she comes down with 2 less loyalty. But the way it works is that happens after it's doubled. So she'll come down with 6, that's doubled to 12, and then it's reduced to 10, meaning you can still ultimate. As opposed to coming down with 6, reduced to 4, doubled up to 8, and so you can't ultimate. So that's the essentially 2-card combo. But something else I've been wanting to try is another new card from Bloomburrow, Rotten Mouth Viper. So it's a 6 mana, 6/6 elemental snake. It says an additional cost to cast a spell, you may sacrifice any number of non-land permanents. This spell costs 1 generic less that each permanent sacrifice its way. So in theory, you can get it down early if you have a lot of non-land permanents. We're not really doing it like that. We are paying full price, or maybe 1, maybe 2 less if we have maybe a Mottled Dread Knight or a token from Preacher of a Schism or Fountain Port kicking around. But its main thing is, when it ETBs or attacks, put a blight counter on it. Then for each blight counter on it, each opponent loses 4 life unless the player sacrifices a non-land permanent or discards a card. So, in theory, this comes down turn 1, your opponent sacrifices or discards or loses 4, you attack, they do that twice, again 3 times. But obviously, with a fully leveled up Innkeeper's Talent, it comes down and does that twice. If you attack, it will do that 4 times. And obviously, if you somehow have more than, well, not somehow, if you have 2 Innkeeper's Talent fully leveled up, then it'll just get bonkers. And I think this could be a really powerful combo as well, just to wipe out your opponent's board or their hand, or just kill them. But obviously, this costs 6 mana. Vraska costs 5 or 6. We need at least 4 mana and a few turns to level up Innkeeper's Talent all the way. So we have ways to keep us alive. And a lot of that is removal with Cut Down, Go for the Throat, Virtue of Persistent, Gix's Command as a pseudo sweeper. We can also give a creature lifelink and buff it. And then Bitter Triumph, which can target Planeswalkers, take care of our opponent's Planeswalkers, often Liliana, because that can really annoy us by making us discard our cards or sacrificing players. Then we've got 1 Pillage the Bog, which looks at the top X cards of your library, where X is the highest number of lands you control. So you've got 4 lands, you've got X. You put 1 of them onto your hand, the rest of the bottom in any order. You can play it for 3, meaning you can play it on a future turn of a 0. And then 4 copies of Mosswood Dread Knight, which has Dread Whispers. So we draw a card and lose 1 life, which is a great way to get through our deck and find extra lands. And then we can play the Dread Knight as a creature, 3/2 trample, but has when it dies, you may cast it from your graveyard as an adventure to the end of your next turn. So it's a really recursive problem for opponent to deal with. And then once we've cast it as adventure again, we can then cast it as a creature. And then just 2 copies of Preacher of the Schism as a blocker and more value. When it attacks a player with most life or tied for most life, we create a 1/1 white vampire creature token lifelink. And then when it attacks while we have the most life or tied for most life, we draw a card and lose 1 life. If we have the same amount of life for our opponent, we trigger both modes. So that can be really powerful as well. Mana base is what you expect. A few swamps and forests, dual lands. We do have some pain lands. 3 Restless College, which can be an alternate win condition. 2 Feral Passage, and then a couple of Fountain Ports as a way to potentially draw by sacrificing tokens, creating tokens, and then creating treasure tokens as well if we have the spare mana. So that's the deck. It is like all combo decks. It's boom or bust quite a lot. It either works or it doesn't. We do have ways to get through if it doesn't work. With Restless College or buffing our creatures with Innkeeper's Talent. But it is what it is. Hope you all enjoy it. If you do, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the gameplay. So we're on the play with a pretty good hand. We're part way to one of the combos. We'll play the Cottage first. We just take out the Scamp now. Well, we will just hold up another Go for the Throat. I'm doing this to find a land. Not the land I was ideally looking for. Let's draw. And I guess I just hold up, Go for the Throat again. So the question is, are they going to sacrifice it now? They are not, which I'm quite happy with about. Let's see if we can hit a land. We can. So at least we can play a blocker. And we'll just get a swamp. Well, there's the talent. Let's level it up. And let's play out another Dread Knight. So I imagine they have removal. I'm going to keep it back. Yeah, I will chump with one. I can probably give it trample. So I think I just do this, get some lifelink. Now we didn't get the combo, we did destroy the Watermouth Viper, but obviously they ran out of steam and we were about to gain 7. Well, we'll give it a go. I think we fetch a forest. Why is Hopeless Nightmare everywhere today? So all we need now is Vraska. We can play Vraska next turn. Well, Virtue's okay. Maybe I should have kept that second talent in hand so Bandit's talent doesn't trigger. Can I draw one of my many Planeswalkers? Well, 6. Or even a Viper. Well,
happy to help, but I'm taking the credit when we win.
I'm done here.
Fine. I know when I'm not wanted. Don't bother begging.
so you can either have 4 lands. You can have 4 lands and you're bored. They go with their board. And that is game. So the way loyalty works is with Phyrexian mana, it's doubled before it's reduced. So it's doubled to 12, then -2. As opposed to -2 to 4, double to 8. I suppose they could have Dawn's Truce. A Carver gives hexproof. That might, I think that does give it to you as well. Or are they just salty roping? Looks like they're salty roping. Yep. Very mature of them. But they clearly have something, which is why it's holding up priority. Yeah, it was very weird. On the play with a lot of removal, we do need more land. Even more removal is good. Well, hopefully we find a land. We do. I'll do that now. Well, it only hit us for one. Next time we can play out Preacher. Or maybe we just play out, we just keep up, go for the throat. I'll take it out now. Now I'll play out Preacher. Play the Dread Knight and the talent. Buff the Dread Knight. Play out the Preacher. Play out the Preacher, sorry. And then level up our talents. Yeah, when a 3/5 Death Toucher on defense really stops mono red. So we're on the draw, a couple of removal and card draw with the Dread Knight. I think this is okay. Oh, it's going to have to be. Virtue's good against the hero because it will put its power to 0. Not that. So we'll hold up. Bit of Triumph. Probably pitching a land. We'll discard, do that and discard one of our wastes. We will get down the Dread Knight as a blocker and hold up. Bit of Triumph. Already pitching the other Llanowar wastes. Preacher's a good draw. Just keep on going for the throat, obviously. There's nothing else we can do. So if they draw another hasty creature, we can kill it. They won't be able to... I don't think they'll be able to do 7 to me, even if that's a show off. It was just a land. Yep. There was a chance they'd kept something like a show off in hand and they were waiting for buff spell so they could play it and then buff it straight away. It's unlikely they would be able to do 7 if it was a show off just with 2 cards. Although there is one of the combat tricks that exiles the top card of your library, and if that went into another combat trick, it could have killed us, but it was just a land. We're on the play, but we have the combo. We just need to get there. We might be up against the mirror match. You can go away. Right, we'll get a forest with this. Let's level up and hold up, go for the throat. A bit of a waste, just gixing that, so I think we're just going to level up and then next turn we can win. Unless they have enchantment removal, which in green is possible. Problem looking at the top 16 cards of your library, it takes you a while to go through them and figure out what you want. I made a decision. They haven't got the mana for Nissa and sacking the analyst, so it should just be game over. Unless they have something in response. There you go, 18 counters, all for you. Well, all removal. And there's Vraska. It looks like we're not playing a creature deck, so fantastic. How scared are you of my fish? Gonna carry on doing what we're doing. Create more fish. Fish aggro. Is their hand just all counter spells? Obviously, if I want to counter this, that's fine. I imagine that's where the counter comes out. Obviously, they do have a couple of creature lands they can attack down Vraska with.
I have been reborn. Form up on me.
Well, they're tapped out as well, so there are no creatures in graveyards. Well, we'll discard a virtue, play a preacher,
Always rises again.
and then
The downtrodden rise together.
and we'll just play our creature as an extra blocker So they do have 3 creature lands. Oh, they're flying. Didn't realise that. The third, Elsbeth.
Hope will never falter. Spread your wings.
Phyrexia marches on.
I have 1 mana open.
You know nothing of Phyrexia's plans.
Well, you can go at Elsbeth, you can go there. It has ward, so you can't do anything to it. They will be able to take out Vraska with their creature lands.
Ours is the only just cause.
I think they've got a bounce spell. How big are these? 2 3s. We draw a card. If we draw another Vraska, assuming that last spell's not a counter, but we didn't draw another Vraska. Depending on what they do, we will draw by sacking the fish. Instead, we create another fish. So they do have their creature lands. Wow, all the lands. That's too late. They activated it after blockers, which is obviously a big mistake on their part. Hello Magic fans and welcome back to the wrap up. In a reverse from our usual fortunes, we actually played far more games on the play than the draw, but also had a worse win rate on the play than the draw, which is unusual. It's a combo deck. It either works or it doesn't. There is a lot of redundancy built in. In fact, the last game in the video, which was a slog, it took 11 minutes, didn't do the combo but still won through, you know, buffing creatures up with Innkeeper's Talent and removing, well, they didn't really have many creatures, but still getting the win. Between doing the deck tech and the end, I did make some minor changes to the deck. I took out one land. We had 26, then I went down to 25, then I went down to 24, just because you need 6 lands. We need 5 lands for Vraska, 6 lands for Rottenmouth, Cobra, and we were destroying way more than that, so we didn't really need 26 lands, especially with the card draw from Mosswood Great Knight and even Preacher of the Schism. Also, I went down to 1 Rottenmouth Viper. Having 2 6-mana wing cons wasn't really working, and I put in a couple of duresses but then never actually used them, and then went up to 4 virtues, and just because it's a really good removal spell and it gains us life, so against the more aggressive decks it is really, really helpful. So an interesting deck. I think there's loads of different ways to play it out there. This is not the most effective way at winning. I really wanted to see how it would work with Cottonmouth Viper, and you know, really could do the similar deck but without Vraska. But Vraska is a you win. Rottenmouth Viper is a, you know, it's bad for your opponent, but it's not the end of the world. So I do have some other ideas for Rottenmouth Viper decks as well, which I'm going to do soon. So keep an eye out for those. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video.